Hello, friends. The parental instinct is one of the basic instincts of all living beings, which sometimes kicks in very unusual and surprising situations. The case that we'll tell you about today happened in the city of Anapa, Russia. This city is known for its beaches and extraordinary landscape. There are the Suco valleys with juniper and pistachio groves, foothills of the Caucasus, covered with mixed forests, as well as the flat plateaus interspersed with sea estuaries. Many Russians would love to live there. Unfortunately, stray animals don't feel any better in Anapa than they do in other regions of the country, especially since the climate isn't very comfortable during the cold season. It was during one of those cold southern days that the volunteers found an unusual family, which was on the verge of death from starvation. However, it turned out that a cat took these babies under its wing, provided them with shelter and food, even before people did. This story may seem fictional at first glance, but having heard it from actual witnesses and seeing the fate of the stray babies, one can't help but be amazed. Ekaterina was a volunteer who cared for stray animals and checked her area regularly. Summer had ended a while ago, but the number of stray cats and dogs living on the street didn't decrease. They all needed to be fed, and they all needed at least some sort of shelter for winter. Unfortunately, finding a permanent or even foster home for the animals was nearly impossible. When baby animals end up on the street, their chances of survival without human help are slim to none, especially if they're left without a mother. However, being cute and little, baby animals are more likely to find new forever homes. Unfortunately, people often treat little animals as live toys, which means that they can eventually end up being abandoned all over again when they reach adulthood. As Ekaterina was checking her area, some woman that lived nearby told her about some kind of squeak they heard coming from a crevice in a concrete slab. It sounded similar to either little kittens or other animals. The woman also shared that the yard cat Marquis had been living there for a long time. Other animals had even stopped trying to get inside because the owner carefully guarded his home. The woman used to feed Marquis, and so they noticed that he began to take his food into his hiding place. And they also shared a strange story with the volunteer. Someone had thrown out a box with 6 puppies into a garbage can near the building, but the puppies had all disappeared. Marquis the cat kept that trash can under strict control, always looking for additional food there and never letting strangers come near it. The puppies appeared early in the morning, but while people were trying to find someone to take them in, the box got empty. Since they were small and cute, people thought that someone could have taken them home. The women were surprised at the quick solution to their problem, but they were glad that everything ended so well. Everyone hoped that it really was a happy ending, but the fact that all the puppies had disappeared while the box remained in place seemed rather strange, and now these squeaking sounds were coming from the hole. However, for some unknown reason, no one managed to connect the dots, and that's too bad because it turned out to be a very interesting story. While Ekaterina stood there waiting for the sound to resume, she got very cold. The woman thought about the little animals who had to live on the street, and terrible thoughts crept into her head. Suddenly, she saw a large cat with a mouse in his teeth coming from around the corner. The cat looked suspiciously at the people and then quickly slipped into the gap under the slab as if nothing had happened. Soon, the sounds of fussing and puffing came from the opening, and a little later, Ekaterina also heard the squeaking sound. She realized that those puppies must be inside, but no one could know that for sure, and they couldn't know how many animals there were, and even more so, how to lure them out. A decision was made to remove the slab. The place needed repairs anyway. They called a handyman who lived in that building, and he carefully widened the gap, shifting part of the slab. About half an hour later, the cat's hideout was accessible to people. Imagine everyone's surprise when they saw the cat and 6 puppies stare at them from behind the slab. Those were the same puppies that had recently been found in the trash can. They lay there, tightly pressed against each other to keep warm. The cat looked at the people who broke into his home with bewilderment. He looked around worriedly, but stayed in place, trying to cover the puppies with his body. While people were deciding what to do with this unusual family, Marquis kept cleaning his adopted children with his tongue. It was so heartwarming that people could barely hold back their tears. Ekaterina decided to take the whole unusual family with her. The cat had lived on the street for a long time, and no one had ever tried to take him in before, but the decision to take home this hardened courtyard resident came suddenly. No one was actually planning on taking the cat initially, but when they tried to take the puppies, the cat refused to leave his adopted babies. When Ekaterina tried to reach for the box, Marquis hissed at her. The puppies were carefully placed in a box, and the cat jumped inside after them. So, the volunteer took the whole family. Talking about what had happened, the women decided that Marquis had found the puppies near the garbage dump, and his paternal feelings must have woken up in some strange way. He carried the puppies to his hole and kept them warm with his own body, trying to feed them with whatever he could find. It's good that a little time has passed since the formation of this unusual family, because the puppies had already lost weight, but at least they were still alive. Ekaterina took care of all the members of the family. Dealing with the adoptive father of the puppies turned out to be the hardest part, as he didn't feel like coming to terms with his domestication. A new home was built for the unusual family, and the cat continued to take care of his adopted babies there too. People noted that the cat made an incredibly caring father. The puppies quickly recovered and began to grow. The volunteer found loving families for most of the puppies, and when there were only 2 left, Ekaterina found a new owner for Marquis too. People heard the cat's story and wanted to adopt him. However, Ekaterina didn't want to move him into his new home right away because she saw how difficult it would be for him to part with his puppies. So a decision was made to wait until all the puppies would find their new homes, and only then the family would take Marquis to his new home. The woman told the cat that the new families would take care of his puppies, but apparently Marquis didn't believe her because he always hissed at the people who took his puppies. Marquis was slowly being prepared for the move. First, the cat got moved from the doghouse into the actual house. By this time, the puppies had grown up and began to roughhouse their adopted father. They didn't do it on purpose, they were simply trying to play with him. But since they'd gotten considerably bigger, they kept accidentally harming the cat. Eventually, all the puppies found their new homes, and that's when it was decided to arrange for the cat's move. Thus, every animal found by Ekaterina had found their forever home. People in that neighborhood remembered the unusual but heroic act of the stray cat Marquis for a long time. They were amazed by how the cat developed parental feelings for someone else's babies and even of different species. After all, not every cat would accept other cats' kittens. Marquis, however, didn't hesitate to adopt a bunch of puppies. And that's all for today, friends. What did you think about this story? Why did the cat do it? Share your thoughts in the comments, like the video, and don't forget to share it with your friends. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.